In the blistering heat of August 1914, as Europe collapsed into the abyss of the First World War, the Battle of the Frontiers exploded along the borders of France, Germany, Belgium, and Luxembourg, becoming one of the largest and bloodiest opening engagements in military history. French strategy, embodied in the ambitious and nationalistic Plan 17, relied heavily on the belief that offensive spirit and the élan vital of their soldiers would overcome German defenses. French troops, still wearing their conspicuous blue coats and red trousers from a bygone era, charged with bayonets fixed, only to be mowed down by concentrated German machine gun fire and devastating artillery barrages that turned open fields into killing zones. Meanwhile, the Germans, executing the meticulously crafted but dangerously rigid Schlieffen Plan, poured massive forces through neutral Belgium, breaching fortifications like those at Liège with terrifying new siege artillery, such as the monstrous 420mm Big Bertha guns, and pushing forward with clockwork efficiency towards France's northern flank. In Lorraine, the French 1st and 2nd Armies under Generals Dubail and Castelnau launched fierce attacks against German positions, initially making gains but soon faltering as German counteroffensives, aided by superior logistics and coordination, inflicted staggering casualties, forcing the French into retreat. In the Ardennes, both sides underestimated the dense, broken terrain. French forces, advancing blindly into the forests, clashed headlong with equally advancing Germans in savage, chaotic firefights where neither side could properly maneuver, resulting in massive losses and confusion. At Charleroi, General Lannesac's Fifth Army, caught between the advancing German Second and Third Armies, fought a desperate defensive battle, only to be forced into retreat after days of bloody struggle. Nearby, at Mons, the small but professional British Expeditionary Force faced the German First Army in a legendary rearguard action, where British rifle fire was so rapid and disciplined that the Germans mistook it for massed machine guns, yet the BEF, heavily outnumbered and at risk of encirclement, was ultimately compelled to fall back as well. Throughout these engagements, communications failures, unrealistic expectations, and outdated tactics exacerbated the chaos. French generals often ordered costly frontal assaults without understanding the strength of German positions, while German commanders, although largely successful, struggled to maintain momentum as their armies outran their supply lines. The fighting was brutal beyond anything the soldiers had ever imagined. Entire battalions were annihilated in hours, villages were pulverized into rubble, and fields became seas of corpses, while the cries of the wounded echoed across the battle-scarred landscape. Belgian resistance, particularly at fortified cities like Liège and Namur, delayed the German timetable, complicating their grand strategy and buying the Allies precious time. As August ended, the Battle of the Frontiers left the French armies battered and retreating, the British hanging on by sheer determination, and the Germans victorious yet dangerously overextended. The myth of a short, glorious war evaporated amid the smoke and blood of these early battles, replaced by the grim realization that this conflict would be a brutal war of attrition, fought not by swift maneuvers but by grinding endurance, industrial slaughter, and unimaginable human sacrifice. In the shattered forests and fields of Lorraine, Ardennes, Charleroi, and Mons, the dreams of 19th-century warfare died forever, and the long nightmare of trench warfare began to take shape.